So you've heard about mochi, maybe even seen cute pictures of little Japanese desserts, and you're wondering, what exactly are Japanese sweets and what should I try while I'm there? Today, I'm going to give you a quick, tourist-friendly intro to all the Japanese sweets I think you should try while you're here, from traditional wagashi to modern cafe favorites and some places where you can get them. Hi everyone, it's Abby from Pictour. I'm a photographer and guide in Japan. This is
Pape.
and you can see more about our tourism photography here. So before we eat, let's start with a quick overview. When it comes to Japanese sweets, you have two main categories. First is wagashi, and this is Japanese style sweets that have been made for centuries. So maybe they've been shaped more by courtly traditions or tea ceremonies, and you will not really see these outside of Japan. But you also have what's called yōgashi, which is Western style sweets. And these were brought over by traders from Europe in the 1500s. They have sort of been modified from their original European design to be more Japanese, if you will. Let's start with wagashi. So wagashi are often paired with tea. If you do perhaps a tea ceremony while you're in Kyoto, you might encounter some of these. Wagashi have a very subtle sweetness, but it works well with the matching of the bitter matcha. So some of the main ingredients that reflect Japan's agricultural roots that they use include mochi, which is glutinous rice, and this symbolizes purity and community. Anko, or red bean paste, which is sweetened beans that are introduced from China in the 8th century, and now they are just ubiquitous here. You also have chestnuts, which were a vital food before rice became widespread. So let's get started eating because I hunger and he's already eating a salad chicken next to me and I have to smell it. The mochi, please. So mochi is a really broad category. What is mochi? It's literally just chewy rice cake that is created after pounding glutinous rice. This is really a tradition here, and it's often tied to New Year celebrations. Mochi has been eaten for over 1,000 years, and I myself even got to enjoy the sense of community that you see around mochi during the New Year when I got to do this, and I got to hammer the crap out of it. Our first pit stop was 7-Eleven. So although there are quite a few types of mochi, and then a few of the other points that I'm going to talk about are also mochi, I'm going to first introduce my favorite kind of mochi, and that is warabi mochi. So warabi mochi is mochi that is covered in kinako, which is sweetened roasted soybean flour. And this stuff is phenomenal. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but the soybean flour kind of tastes like peanuts. So if you like a sort of like deep roasted nutty flavor, you will really like this. So it's like super duper soft. All right, next up is daifuku. So daifuku is also a mochi, but it is a certain preparation of mochi where you have a round mochi and you fill it usually with something like red bean paste, although you'll also find things like custard or fruit. The word daifuku literally means great fortune, so it's often given as a gift for good luck. Yeah. So the kind of daifuku we found at 7-Eleven today was mame daifuku, which mame means beans. So this kind of, if it'll focus on it, daifuku has little beans in it. And honestly, I think this is great. This is like really yummy stuff. And it has tsubuan inside, which is red bean paste, like chunky mode, right? Yeah. Red bean comes in creamy and chunky, kind of like peanut butter.
すごい.
Somehow this has 5 grams of protein. So I'm going to spill this flour everywhere, but please look at this. You can see little beans in it. This thing is heavy. Mochi often come covered in this like flour that will spill everywhere, by the way. So look forward to that.
Otherwise, it's gonna get stuck. It's like plastic.
All right, here we go. You can see the red bean inside of it, and it's like chunky. This is really good. It's a little bit salty too, which is pretty standard when you get mame, the bean daifuku.
I like koshiam better.
Kosam. He likes creamy red bean. I like chunky red bean. So the 7-Eleven did not have the next one on the list, so we're going to drive over to the grocery store. So I will see you there. Okay, next up is Dango. Dango, please. Dango! These are his favorite dango. What is a dango, in case you don't know? A dango is a skewered mochi. It is literally a mochi on a stick. And there's a lot of different ways to enjoy them, but here is the first one. So, of course, this has red bean on it. You can see a cute little, like, grilled mochi. All right, let's eat it. That's good. The hardest part of eating dango is the not stabbing yourself with the stick part, in my opinion. My favorite way to eat dango, and we did not get it in dango form, but we got it in off the stick form, is mitarashi dango. So mitarashi dango is dango that are covered in a sweet soy sauce, which I tell people that and they're like, that sounds really bad. And it is so good. It is amazing. It will change your life. I promise, I promise. And mitarashi dango right here that I'm about to eat actually originates from Shimogamo Shrine in Kyoto, but you will find a lot of mitarashi dango when you go around Kyoto. So try it, please. I actually went somewhere the other day and they had a giant mitarashi dango, so I'm now going to play that video for you right here.
Oh, fine, yeah.
Yeah, they're good, right? They're good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite mitarashi dango places is somewhere I always make people try when they go on a tour with me because it's so good. All right, next up is something that we could not find in the grocery store, but it is something you will see a lot of places, especially in Kyoto, and that is yatsuhashi. So yatsuhashi is a rice flour sweet, and looks like a little ravioli most of the time. Basically, it is a flattened piece of mochi, almost like you would roll out like a dough, and then you make like the ravioli shape, and inside of it, it has something like red bean or some other flavored like bean paste. And the classic flavor, the classic flavor is cinnamon, but they have like strawberry, orange, soda. What do they have? Everything. Peach, and they're all seasonal too.
Choco banana.
Choco banana is a really big one. Yatsuhashi, by the way, they're named after a 17th century musician named Yatsuhashi Kengyo, and basically, it was originally a sweet that was like a hard baked cracker. So you'll see that too, especially if you get ice cream in Kyoto. It might just have a random little cracker in it. That's also technically a yatsuhashi. Eventually, the soft, unbaked nama, meaning raw, nama yatsuhashi, became Kyoto's top souvenir. And now it's like when Japanese people think like, what kind of souvenir should I bring someone from Kyoto? Yatsuhashi, like that's the thing. So it's also a really good souvenir to bring people. Next up is something that when I was a child and I went to my local Asian supermarket because I wanted to pretend I was Japanese, and they had like nothing because the only Asian people that lived in my town were like Chinese people. One of the only Japanese things they had was dorayaki. So dorayaki is basically a pancake and it has sweet red bean paste in the middle. So I used to bring these bad boys to school every day and the other kids were like, what in the world are you eating? And I was like, the version I got from the good old 7-Eleven, of course, takes it up a notch, and it has red bean paste and whipped cream. So if red bean paste is something that is unfamiliar to you, I know it is like, I guess you'd call it like an acquired taste. Maybe having some whipped cream in there will help. Yeah, a little bit of moisture in there to lighten up the dryness. But the name dorayaki, dora means gong, yaki just means to grill. So you'll hear the word yaki a lot, like okonomiyaki, yakiniku, yaki soba. Yaki is just like to cook, to grill. I'm like trying to think of yaki words off the top of my head. Takoyaki, yes. The legend goes that there was a samurai that left his gong at a farmer's house, and the farmer used it as a griddle to make the first dorayaki. So today, of course, it is a kind of comfort classic, and you will also see the anime character Doraemon. And Doraemon's favorite food is dorayaki. I cannot put him on the screen because he is copyright. it literally is pancakes, right? You can see, I'm just gonna open her up. You can see that, I know, you can see the red bean. Look at this whipped cream that they've like kind of put around the side. Let's eat it. Whipped cream really goes well with red bean. It gives it like a more balanced, softened flavor. It looks delicious. Next up is another yaki. And this is like the you're desperate and you're just at 7-Eleven version. But this is taiyaki. So tai is sea bream, and sea bream is considered a very lucky fish in Japan. So meretai, yes. So usually taiyaki is cooked fresh. So when you get it, it is warm, and it is basically like a pancakey dough that is cooked around something like red bean or custard or like chocolate cream. Phenomenal, highly recommended. I don't think I've ever met anyone that doesn't like it. So basically, when they started making taiyaki, the guy went through a few other animals first before he finally realized that the lucky sea bream would give people an excuse to buy it because it's an expensive fish, it's a lucky fish, and it symbolizes good fortune and prosperity. But you'll find stalls everywhere for it. So the version we got, I'm almost reluctant to show you because now that I'm holding it, it's like so. It's so sad looking. But
It's not like that. It's just.
But I'm gonna eat it anyway because if you don't find a stall for some reason that you can buy it at, hot and warm, you can get like something like this from the convenience store. Do you start with the head or the tail? It's got custard in it. Honestly, when you get the hot taiyaki and it's got custard in it, that's pretty top tier. That's like you shouldn't come to Japan and not try that kind of level of food, in my opinion. Last thing I want to mention would be manju. So manju are steamed buns with sweet fillings like red bean or chestnut. Manju were introduced from China in the 14th century, and they really reflect Japan's tradition of introducing foreign foods and turning it into something that is kind of uniquely their own. All right, so after we talked about wagashi, which are the more Japanese traditional sweets, now let's talk about yōgashi, which are literally, that means Western sweets. And these arrived in Japan through European traders around the 1500s, particularly the Portuguese, who brought ingredients like sugar, bread, and sponge cake, castella. But it wasn't until the Meiji era that transformed yōgashi into a nationwide trend. By the way, you're going to notice like one key difference when it comes to all kinds of Japanese sweets and a lot of other foreign sweets, especially as someone that comes from America, is they're all going to be less sweet. They're all going to be more lightly sweet. And of course, nowadays that's more of like a personal preference, but it comes from the fact that sugar used to be very expensive. So instead of being heavy and rich, Japanese people tend to desire sweets that are more delicate and balanced, especially using more seasonal ingredients, having that kind of focus on those natural flavors that you get from those foods, and not just having something taste like that's sugar, you know. So let's start with some of the yōgashi that I love and recommend to you, starting with parfaits. So you guys probably know what a parfait is, but Japanese style parfaits are honestly more elaborate than any other parfait I've ever seen in my life. So they're usually very tall, layered glasses filled with things like ice cream, maybe mochi, maybe fruits, maybe that kinako powder I showed you earlier, and cornflakes. They love to put cornflakes
To fill up.
to fill up space. And of course, parfaits came from France, but Japan really kind of reinvented them, if you will. Really big like cafe culture in Japan, especially in somewhere like Kyoto, where you'll have all different kinds of parfaits at different places. One of my favorite is karafuneya, yeah, which is top tier and has the most insane amount of parfaits I've ever seen in my life. Next up is something that Tape is going to have to go in the store and get, otherwise it would be melted all over the vehicle, and that is soft cream. Thank you, sir. All right, this is not quite yōgashi, but I'm putting it in here because I think it's important. I've had people tell me that the quality of any dairy here in general is shockingly good because it's very fresh. And that's because it's often from like Hokkaido cows, and they really just focus on good quality dairy. So
Stress free.
I know, hopefully they're like doing like Zen meditations every day, like with the cows or something. So milk flavor. It's not like vanilla. It's literally just focused on the milk. Also, I have a video on ice cream, by the way, which if this excites you, you could check that out. It's soft. One more note about soft cream is that you should definitely also try matcha soft cream / ice cream because it's a very unique Japanese expression of enjoying that kind of natural, bitter matcha flavor while also putting a little sweetness to it. All right, next up is Castella, which, like I said, was brought over by Portuguese traders in the 16th century. Castella, please. Wow. So Castella is a sponge cake.
Bob?
Who is Bob?
Sponge.
Oh. Castella is a sponge
Bob?
cake. You're literally reported. It's a sponge.
Who's Bob?
I didn't process what you said.
Who's Bob?
Who's Bob? So anyway, this was introduced to Nagasaki during the 16th century, and it became a symbol of Japan's non-ban trade period, which is when the Europeans really first arrived. And it's still kind of a classic Nagasaki thing you can find there as a souvenir if you go there. But of course, you'll find Castella cake everywhere. I like that it's wrapped in like a little blanket. Good morning.
Good night.
Good night. Don't eat the little paper on the bottom of the cake that
Yeah.
I probably would have eaten, to
But
be
if you-
honest.
If you do it roughly, you're gonna take all sugar.
Oh
So
yeah,
be
there's
careful.
like sugar on it. So I took off half the sugar by accident because the paper peeled off. It's a sponge cake, all right. It's got a good texture, a good crumb, if you will. If this was the British Bake Off, eggy. It's very mild. Japanese people, I will mention, there's 2 other types of cake that they really like. And first off is shortcake. So when Japanese people think of cake, they think of shortcake for the most part. Like if you get a birthday cake here, 99% chance it's a shortcake with strawberries, aka strawberry shortcake. The other good cake here is Baumkuchen, which if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a dense German cake. And this is my personal favorite cake here, as someone that is a person that prefers like more of a dense, I don't know, not spongy cake. I want my cake to be like cakey. And you can find these everywhere, even at like Muji. Every konbini, they have a little Baumkuchen. And then one more type of cake adjacent item would be the Mont Blanc, actually. It was introduced in the early 20th century, and it is one of Japan's now most beloved like cafe desserts. So when people see this and they don't know what it is, they assume is that like ramen noodles on top of it. What am I looking at? It's chestnut. It's like a soft chestnut, and it's just like a little creamy flavor over usually cake. Recommend this if you see it somewhere. If you go to a cafe and they have a Mont Blanc, great with a coffee. Like 10 out of 10, phenomenal. Next up is coffee jelly. Coffee jelly is so good. It's jelly that has coffee in it. Like, go figure. But one of the good ones you can get from the convenience store is this bad boy. So it's got like this
It says cafe
sweet black jelly, and then on top of it is usually some kind of like cream or whipped cream. And I'm gonna eat this with a fork. Are you for real? All right, we're being kind of liberal here with what yōgashi is. But last up is pudding. Pudding. And Japanese pudding is more like caramel flan. And
and the egg.
And it's very eggy. So as an American, when I think of pudding, I think of like chocolate pudding or banana pudding. And I'm sure everyone from different places has their own unique pudding. this is Japanese. So it's really good. Please open. I love that when you get something in Japan at a convenience store, this is the spoon they give you. This teeny tiny shovel. Like, I don't know what this does for me, but I love a good little baby shovel over here. Pudding. You know, I literally never eat pudding.
What?
Why did you just drink that like at one time?
Screaming inside. Right, you like,
Anyway,
okay.
this is what I have to live with. A final thing to talk about would be kakigori or shaved ice, as Hawaiians call it. I hear shave ice. It is not yōgashi, but it is a very popular sweet here. And I have a video about some kakigori places in Kyoto if you want to learn more about kakigori. Finally, you have things like pancakes and tiramisus, and you'll have a fun time when you're in Japan seeing these desserts you know back home, and they're going to be, you know, Japanized, Japan. Anyway, you'll enjoy seeing kind of Japan's globalized food culture while you're here. Enjoy them, enjoy the uniqueness of everything. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Japanese dessert is. And that's it. We will see you in the next video.
Bye.
Farewell.